From fairy tales to romantic movies, you may have come across the phrase butterflies in the stomach. Yes, a belly full of sparkling monarchs that light up when your loved one enters the room. Even thought this is a poetic vision. It's also a real physical occurrence that illustrates the close connection between the body and the mind. Well, would you want to do the same for your partner? Then this video is for you. So how to give a guy butterflies in his stomach? What give guys the butterfly feeling? And most importantly, what's the science behind the butterflies? In the early stages of a blossoming relationship, you could feel overwhelmed by strong excitement. In fact, excitation and anxiety have very similar sensations in us. Thus, butterflies in the stomach are nothing but a companion of the body's fight or flight reaction. Secondly, the pleasure regions located in the basal ganglia are activated when someone falls in love, or more accurately, when someone falls in lust, which results in an immediate physiological reaction. Thus, your hands will grow cold and clammy, your heart will race, and you will be intensely preoccupied with that individual. Basically, not only your mind, but your body falls in love as well. This is what we call as the feeling of butterflies. Furthermore, dopamine may also play a part in the release of your butterflies. Also referred to as the feel-good chemical, it is released when you engage in pleasurable activities like having sex or spending time with a potential mate. Thus, the body's fight or flight reaction, basal ganglia, and dopamine release all together constitute the feeling of butterflies in one's stomach. So now that you understand the science behind the feeling of butterflies, now let's discover how you can innocently give a guy butterflies. Well, as a clinical psychologist, I traced out 5 strongest ways to give a guy butterflies in their stomach. Let's see them one by one. 1 is make good eye contact. One of the easiest and strongest ways to give a guy butterflies instantly is by making good eye contact. A study was conducted in order to determine how much time lovers would spend staring into each other's eyes. At the end, it was discovered that people who aren't in love with each other generally make eye contact for 30 to 60% of the time. On the other hand, those in love stared at each other's eyes 75% of the time and exchanged intense looks while talking. Hence, a little tip for genuinely winning someone over to help him feel butterflies in his stomach is to stare into his eyes 75% of the time. In fact, he will interpret this stare as affection. As phenethylamine, also referred to as love drug, is released in response to this pleasant eye encounter. 2. Remember the small details. During conversation, mention something he told you about himself in a fleeting chat. What school did he go to? Does he have a favorite car? What is his favorite food? Yes, it can be the smallest of details, but bringing it back can make him feel heard and listened to. While we expect men to always listen, they find it very pleasant and get butterflies when you do it too. 3. Dim the lights. If you want to give a guy butterflies, it would be a good idea to choose a spot with low lighting for your upcoming date. In a crucial study, researchers displayed 2 images of the same woman to male participants. Researchers modified one of the photographs so they had a slightly smaller pupil, while the other showed an image with a slightly larger pupil. At the end, none of the males claimed to have noticed this minute alteration, but they all agreed that the lady with the narrow pupils was cold, rigid, and self-centered. So how does this relate to dim lights? Well, the fact of the matter is, in bright light, your pupils automatically get narrow and smaller to limit the amount of light that enters. On the other hand, by choosing a dim light date, your pupils naturally get bigger and dilated to let in more light. So of course your lover might become even more attracted to you if you carefully choose a dim candlelight supper for your next date. So choose the lighting wisely. 4. Invest in him. Whether it's time, money, energy, or effort, investment becomes crucial to make a guy feel butterflies. Yes, the more committed you become to him, the more important he feels to you, and the more he feels connected. In fact, the main component of desire is investment. That is, he won't normally have a strong desire for you if you haven't done anything with or for him. Remember, you can have attraction without investment, but not desire. That's why he may not start to actively desire you and feel butterflies until you start to invest in him. 5. Bring in freshness. The reason the first text, the first date, and the initial conversations are special is because they brought in newness in both of your lives. One aspect of these first experiences is the result of discovering something for the first time. Therefore, setting aside time to try something new as a couple should cause the same neurological and consequently emotional reactions as the first time. So every so often, plan an event that the two of you have never done before. This may be something that he particularly finds thrilling, enjoyable, or captivating. Thus, these kinds of encounters will activate those mental regions and revive the butterflies he had earlier in your relationship. Lastly, let me tell you one thing. Women and men experience the same kinds of butterflies in their stomachs. Of course, we are aware that these things make ladies feel special. However, despite that, our culture has taught males to hide their vulnerable side. But they also adore these tiny things.